Yeah. What's up, beautiful ladies, wonderful gentlemen? Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Once again, however you are viewing this live stream, peace. This is one of those live streams that probably only get maybe like 12 to 20 views because it's one of those live streams that's very touchy. We talk about family, we talk about family values. This live stream is going to be very touchy. Yeah, I don't know what it was, but it took me about like 10 minutes to 15 minutes just to get on live stream, my StreamYard, whatever it is. It took me a long time. My laptop wasn't loading. It was just sitting there. I'm like, this is corny. So I was getting frustrated sitting here waiting for it to allow me to go on. So I don't know. Maybe I need to clean up my laptop and I don't know. But that was very depressing to sit there for like 10 minutes to 15 minutes watching the time just tick away. And you're like, yo, I really want to do this live. Well, guess what, folks? We are going to talk Tupac. We're going to talk Tupac because we're going to keep it on family values. We're going to keep it on family building, family structure. And we're going to take an icon like Tupac. I'm going to take an icon like Tupac and use his story as a great model story for family values and what goes on in the everyday struggle of the average inner city youth. When you look at all the violence that takes place in our communities, it's because of this situation right here. The name of this is Tupac's parents' life is what more than 50% of inner city youth battle. Your daddy is dead. How many people, back in the 90s was like, yo, Tupac, believe that Tupac's dad was dead? And then the story comes, he comes out of nowhere. How many people's like, yo, what's this crazy bull crap? Because we didn't have social media, so it was like, what's all this craziness? And so it's easy to believe the hype. It's easy for people to say, well, oh, he's just trying to get in Tupac's life because he wants some money. First thing first, the man was a captain of a Black Party chapter. Everyone needs money, but revolutionaries have a bigger motive. I want to speak on this because we're going to talk about family values, the whole infrastructure, the foundation, and why it's important for us not to keep in this pathway because it's not the pathway for success. Tupac is dead because of this right here. I mean, people think that if Pac's father was in his life, Pac would be alive to this day. Now you can say, well, Pac's father was getting his life. Yeah, Pac's father was getting his life, but Pac's father was getting his life as a sidekick. He wasn't as authority. So when I say if Pac's father was in his life as authority, how many people think that Tupac would be alive to this day? This is a deep conversation because I did a conversation in regards to Vivek Ramaswamy, the Republican dude, Indian dude who's running on the Republican Party, and I spoke about how he's focused on nation building. He's going to focus on family, and one of the worst structures of families is ours, and we don't really have a strong structure. It's basically do art thou will. That's the black family structure. Do art thou will. Do art thou will is what the black family base their structure on, and we must make a change if we are to become competitors in this game. So it's very imperative for us to take heed to what's going on. I'm gonna give myself 10 minutes to warm up, and then I'm gonna go into a video. So just stay with me as we get this a little bit warmed up for you folks. Once again, I'm sorry I'm starting a little late, but you know I always start late. Technically, this is kind of early. Trying to get myself situated. Had a long day. Yo, there was a young lady that I was talking to, and I told you the story before, but I'll tell you again. Her daughter had wrote, something, a little art. She did a little artwork for her mom's, you know what I'm saying? And she had it on the refrigerator. And it was talk about how great her mom's is, you know what I'm saying? Talk about how great mommy is. It's so amazing how we are trained to idolize mommy and demonize daddy. And that honestly is one of the forms of the devil's trick. To idolize mommy and demonize daddy. Because once you demonize daddy and you can get daddy up out the household, then you have a stepfather called Satan, who's always going to be lurking in each room, waiting for his opportunity to rule the castle. This is a very deep conversation because it's important for us to keep family structure together and not live in lust. Tupac was created in 100% pure lust. The only greatness about Tupac is that he realized a lot of the realness. He understood that daddy just got a piece of ass. You know what I'm saying? He knows what it is. So he knows, and he's in a certain level of control because he kind of knows. Although he's not in control, but he has a certain level of control because he know he was born in lust. How many of us know if he was born in lust or love? How many of us know if we was born from lust or love? So when you look at Tupac's life, he was running through many, 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 many women. I mean, you get money, that's going to happen. But it was like part of the blueprint. That's just part of the blueprint because that's where he was born from, lust. And he tried to fight it at the same time, though. That was the beautiful part because he tried to fight it. That's the Gemini, I guess. So therefore, he tried to get it. He got married. He always was searching and seeking for love by his cup because most guys don't want to be the bad guy. To be the bad guy means you're the villain, and to become the villain means that people can cast and throw stones at you. And you can tell in his interviews how he always will go back and forth with the interviewer and say he make music for women. He loved women because he always got justified because that's the battle of the demon. People don't know how you really feel because what you put out sometimes is not always good. But it's he putting out what he's come from. Two parents' lives who bring inner city young people and they are dead to each other. So we're gonna jump to. I'm gonna open up this right here because I'm gonna do a presentation with my man Billy Garland, 2pac's pops, and shout out to the art of dialogue. Okay, well, I said it, and now let's hear from I said if Tupac's father was in his life, he I don't believe that he would. I believe he'd still be alive. All right, this one says Tupac was betrayed by people he trusted. If I were a better father, he wouldn't have dealt with shit. Okay, so now he's putting the blame on himself because, like I said, that's what most men do. They feel guilty because they're penis. You know what I'm saying? They feel guilty because they're lust. But outside your guilt and everything, there's still seesaw, and there's always another side to it. If you just 100% complete deadbeat, corny ass dad, then that's one thing. This don't go to you. But if the seesaw, whatever that shit is called, it has two sides. So okay, you might have been wrong, you might have been lustful and wrong, but what was the other party? Were they being malicious and evil? And that's where we at right now. So it's not like if I were a better father, it's if I was a better parent. See, that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's like men are so conditioned to single themselves out of the parent and make it just about them and being wrong, but it's about the parents because parenting, the same way you was able to organize and put that sex together, is the same way you must organize to get it right in regards to raising these kids. Otherwise, we got nothing but demons running out. So, if I were a better parent, he wouldn't have dealt with short. Because look, this is what I want you to understand. I said if I was a better parent, because now I could say the same thing like this. What about God rest the dead? But I mean, sorry, we talk about a serious situation. So let's say Afina Shakur, she was in Pac's life. She was there, right? And where was Tupac? Who was Tupac doing with? Tupac was doing with these characters, these individuals. So if that if Billy can say, if I were a better father, isn't it fair for us to say that if Safina was a better mother, Tupac wouldn't have been dealing with Suge and all this craziness? So this is why we're going to get into the story. It's two sides to the seesaw. So if he can easily and comfortably put the blame and have tears in his eyes, say, if I was a better father, Tupac wouldn't have been in that situation. Well, his mom's was in the situation. So could we fairly say that the same for her? Sorry for the little commercial. Let's get through this. Skip the ad. Skip.
How do you feel about new rappers comparing themselves to your son Tupac Shakur and calling themselves the next Tupac or using him to help bring attention to their
themselves.
project?
Yeah, it's just I don't, because it's ridiculous. Let's be honest. If you were on that level, everybody would know it. You understand? They would know it. Instead of that small junk that you have a little. Let's be honest. You're categorized. Let's look what they have, and you got to look like this. You got to do this. You got to be odd. You got to do this. Our women, I love them, but they show our women nothing but sex objects. If you look, if you're a rapper, you have to display skin. Unfortunately, I feel this shouldn't be. You should be able to get by on the merit of your work. But that's just America and the media and how they want to represent us. That went against everything Pac stood for. He said he was going to stop calling people bitches and shit.
Tupac told you that?
And then a bitch put him in jail over a lie. So that broke his heart. See, he kept getting his heart broken. He kept getting hurt by people that he loved and cared for. And that'll change you, bro. Somebody
Absolutely.
you trust.
Absolutely.
Or want to trust, or want to support, or want to fight for, or want to die for. Betray you.
Yeah.
One thing about this man, he's very emotional. You can see where Tupac got his sensitive side from. Afina, she's a beast. Remember, they both was part of the Black Panther Party. And in this interview, he always said that he respected her. He respected her as a revolutionary. So Afina was the side that you see with Tupac and all that loud mouth and all that crazy shit. That's Afina. The sensitive side of Tupac, that's this dude. The emotional side is this dude, Billy Garland. That rah-rah, that's Afina.
It's the loyalty, the camaraderie. None of that's really the same
It's
anymore.
more. And then the biggest one was Suge Knight.
Right.
You know, this motherfucker, I feel so bad. I got to live the rest of my life realizing that maybe if I was a better father, he might not have gotten that situation. He might have had enough wisdom to know that this motherfucker ain't nothing but a scoundrel. But he looked up to him like a father. Then to find out a year, 8 months later, that he's cheating him out of all of his money, that's the final betrayal. So his whole life, he's had betrayals. Me for not being there, his mother for lying about him and his father, the people in his life, the women, getting robbed, getting shot, going to jail for a lie. All this is people that he loved, Black people.
Okay, so now from this dialogue, let's go. That little paragraph that he dropped is the jewel. Okay, we're going to give this man respect. Put some respect on Billy's name. You heard? Put some respect on Billy's name. Give this man some love, folks. This is the energy that we were supposed to have been hearing in the 90s. This is the interviews that we were supposed to have been having in the 90s when there was Tupac and Biggie, the controversy. We were supposed to hear from the dad. Okay, it was nice to hear from Afina, but we were supposed to hear from the dad. But no, daddy's dead. It hurts to hear this now. But he felt like he was the deadbeat father who had no position in his son's life. And that's when you talk about the beta man. And that's when you talk about the mindset of the world, how they really make you become a beta man from guilt. A lot of men become beta men from guilt. It's not necessary that they are beta men. They just be guilty, and so they become beta from the guilt. And that's why they also that's why they're the violent ones, because they're not really betas. They just guilty, and they feel bad, and it comes out in that form. But if you take advantage of it, then it comes out rage because they're not really as beta-ish as they claim to be. They just guilty. And this man is guilty because that's the way society made you feel. But he's guilty. But society make you feel like you don't even have authority over your own family. So let's get into it. I'm going to repeat what he just said, because this is very important.
And they all betrayed him. That he's cheating them out of all of his money.
It's the loyalty, the camaraderie. None of that's really the same anymore.
It's more. And then the biggest one was Suge Knight.
Right.
You know, this motherfucker, I feel so bad. I got to live the rest of my life realizing that maybe if I was a better father, he might not have gotten that situation. He might have had enough wisdom to know that this motherfucker ain't nothing but a scoundrel.
So what is he saying that as a father, what do fathers pass down to their children, especially their sons? That wisdom, that knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Knowledge, wisdom, understanding. That knowledge, wisdom, understanding of life. That was missing. And trust me, if we can repeat it all over again, and that man being Pac's life, Pac will be here to this day. And yo, can you just imagine they have a real strong father-son relationship? Can you just imagine if Tupac Shakur father was in his life and Tupac was dropping these bombs is what he dropping then with guidance from his father and doing it making music for respect for his father? Imagine Tupac was making music for the respect of his dad and the love for the music and the love for the people. power to the people. But what he had was a depressed woman in his life, emotionally, emotionally combative with herself, a lot going on. And those emotions is what drove Pac away from the household, away from the family, more so on his own. And then she's like, well, if you want to be a man, be a man. No, if Dad was there, yo, boy, get your ass here. And then she was on drugs, heavy drugs. This guy, he did his drugs too. They all did drugs. But she was an addict on the point where this guy probably didn't want to deal with it anymore. We must really take time out to say, why do we always give mommy all the benefit of doubt, no matter what, and yet still know it was her that caused 80% of that friction and that downfall? Why we still praise mommy to belittle daddy? This is a deep conversation, folks. Why do we praise mommy to belittle daddy? Why don't we just praise both parents? Because he ain't doing nothing to be praised. Okay, so if you say that he's not doing nothing to be praised, and Tupac is dead, Tupac was raised by his moms, what did she do to be praised? She gave birth to the nigga? Who gives a fuck about that? A roach can give birth to a roach. A rat can give birth to a rat. Anything can lay some eggs. Shit, a fly can drop some eggs on the doodle and give birth to maggots. So what do that mean? Who's ready for the real conversation? Let's repeat this.
But he looked up to him like a father. Then to find out,
Right.
he looked up to this motherfucker. I feel so bad.
The loyalty, absolutely.
I want to trust, I want to support, I want to fight for, I want to die for. Betray you?
Yeah. It's that the loyalty, the camaraderie, none of that's really the same anymore.
And then the biggest one was Suge Knight.
Right.
He looked up to this motherfucker. I feel so bad. I got to live the rest of my life realizing that maybe if I was a better father, he might not have gotten that situation. He might have had enough wisdom to know that this motherfucker ain't nothing but a scoundrel. But he looked up to him like a father. Then to find out a year, 8 months later, that he's cheating him out of all of his money, that's the final betrayal. So his whole life, he's had betrayals. Me for not being there, his mother for lying about him and his father, the people in his life.
What do y'all think about what he just said? The mother lying on the father. What y'all think about that?
Women, me for not being there, his mother for lying about him and his father.
Okay, he take blame off the rip. That's why I salute him as a man. Me for not being there. His mom for lying about his father. Which is worse? Not being there, or when one is lying upon you to make you not even want to be around? This is scary, folks, because a lot of folks don't want to talk about the reality. But I respect this dude in regards to this interview, because this interview, it was straight raw dog.
The people in his life, the women.
Now we're gonna take away Pac. We not listening as this is Billy Garland. This is just a black man in his 60s who's been around. This is a Black Panther man speaking, a captain. And he's talking about the crisis of our inner city youth. especially our boys. This is what he's talking about. He ain't talking about his son. He ain't talking about Pac. So now listen to his words, not as Tupac's father, but just as a Black Panther speaking on where we at in 2023 as a unit.
Me for not being there, his mother for lying about him and his father, the people in his life.
So these things are what's hurting us. Fathers not being in their children's lives, mothers lying to their children about the fathers, the environment that they put these children in and allow these children to be in,
The women,
the lust, allowing the lust without having some type of stipulation on it, like some coming to America. No, you're not going to be just sleeping around doing well you want to do, how you want to be a little hoe. The lust. This was hurting our communities. And what else?
getting robbed, getting
The jealousy. The jealousy. Okay, I'm gonna go over these again. I'm gonna write them down for you. I'm gonna stay on this right here for a little bit, because he's giving us this is a captain of the Black Panther Party, and he's giving us a rundown of what's hurting the Black man in his community and his family, and why he's misplaced in his family and his community. He's giving the breakdown and rundown, folks. So if you, I'm gonna list them. I'm gonna write it down again and list them. It's the fathers not taking responsibility. It's the mothers and their uncontrollable lies. It's the environment that the children be in. It's the lust that the children are allowed to have. It's the jealousy that the community have for one another.
shot, going.
It's the anger management that we have, the misplaced anger, the evilness, the high level of evilness, shooting ready to kill. What else?
jail for a lie.
Going to jail because of lies. Going to many. Yo, I am so tired of going to jail for bullshit and lies. Going to jail because what you stand for and the amount of control that you can have and power that you have. That's what the jail was about.
All this is people that he loved, Black people, and they all betrayed him.
And now when you have a person who have nothing but love in their heart for their people, and all this happens, this is what I'm trying to tell you. So many young boys go through school and they actually start developing a little bit of love for their environment, especially if you stay on top of them. But then when you have all that betrayal, you have some dude rob some dude for his sneakers, or rob him for his ice cream money, his lunch money. And then you have the girls who you like and you want to get with, always talk about you and dissing you. And then you got the people and this and that just betraying you. It will take you out of your love zone and put you in a different type of zone. Like, I'm going to get mine. I'll get my money, get mine, and I'm going to tap some shorties. We transform us with the way we act towards one another. And like Jasmine God said, Tupac got, distracted. He got completely distracted from his overall mission. We all know that. And that's because of everything that's spewed at us.
I don't think nobody's ever really focused on this. People don't understand when you just said that. A lot of people don't understand that Tupac was shot twice in 2 years.
Who does that?
How does that make you feel to even know that?
It breaks my heart. And I'm there every time in the hospital after my son got hot lead in his soul. 9 times. 9 goddamn bullets. And still this nigga didn't die right away. I said, he's a strong Black man. But it wasn't fair. It wasn't right. For what? What did he die for? What did he die for? There lies the question. And that's the one.
So this is now the end of the segment. Now, what do our young black men die for? Let's hear.
Everybody's trying to figure out. And as far as I can see, the best they can go with is a fucking death row medallion. And I refuse to let that slide.
So we be dying over trinkets. We be dying over material things. So black men die for material things. But they're not dying for a cause no more. If we're gonna die young, let's die for a cause.
That ain't why my son died. It wasn't for no death row medallion. But I got no proof. And I can't say, but we know it wasn't that.
I could say I think that Tupac died because he was an honorable individual. And he thought that that honor meant something. Because to him, it meant something because it was the example that he was showing growing up.
Yeah.
From the Panther Party. Yeah, you know, so.
She did teach him a lot about that, I think. I think he saw that. But he also had that gene. He had that right from wrong. You know, you could just see shit. It's out there, bro. You could see that. Stopping a black man and doing this to him. And it ain't that hard to vision. Right. It's just, and so people react to it. Some people don't react. Certain white people say, well, he should have complied. So what kind of reality is that bullshit? What do you mean comply? How do you comply when you're unarmed and a motherfucker got a gun on you, shooting at you? What the fuck are you talking about? He should have complied. Man.
Different perspectives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like to your point, he was honorable. And there was no honor. There's no honor in that game. There's no honor in the rap game. There's no honor in society. We think it is.
Yeah.
You know, and everything that he leached onto, everything that he attached himself to, he thought that they would reciprocate that honor, that they would be real, as real as he is. And his realness was up here.
Yeah.
Their realness is up here. And everybody was looking for something. Everybody looking for that something. And we know what that is, unfortunately.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, unfortunately. It's sad.
So there's no honor amongst us in our community. This is why our young men be dying. What do we honor? If we don't honor our father, if we don't honor our mother, if we don't honor God, if we don't honor the Lord, what do we honor? Material things and lust. And those are two things that we die for. We die for material things and lust. I'm going to die for my girl. I'm going to die for my man. I'm going to die for my shorty. I'm going to die for my niggas. I'm going to die for this money. I'm going to die for this car. And that's because there's no family structure, no family values. Because daddy is dead. I was so confused because your Pac was rap about his father. Pac would say his father dead, and then it was all so confusing. And the media was saying his father wasn't alive, and then they said no, they say his father's alive, and then the Tupac dead. Everything was happening so fast that I wish that we could just put a pause on everything. Say, hold on, this is too much right now. Let's edit. But right now we can edit life, folks. We have the opportunity to edit life. And the way we can edit life is stop killing ourselves from the beginning. And that's when the man and the woman meets and they start their relationship and they start their family building. We must stay focused right there. Ladies, I'm not here to scold you or nothing. But I'm here to let you know that don't bring children into this world thinking that you're going to be able to keep the man that way, hold the man that way, hostage the man that way. That's evil to the child. That's wrong to the child. Don't abandon and abort the child because that's what you did. But don't lay down with those intentions. Don't lay down with that demon and that lust, because all it's doing is producing a community of dead fathers and a title above them, deadbeat dads, because you say so. It's so funny because deadbeat fathers come from like that title comes from like 80% of deadbeat mothers. Most of the women that really be screaming he's a deadbeat, she herself was a deadbeat as she was with him, and she probably got a job in between. And then once she got the job, she turned, and he became super deadbeat. But when they was deadbeats together, it was all good. It was all in lust. But once she got the job and she felt like she was buying all the weed and she was buying all the liquor now, and it was coming from a check, not from the EBT money that they was flipping and stuff like that, but now it's coming from her hard work check. Now he's the deadbeat. He's just going on with the same plan that y'all was going on with. This is what we was doing. We was deadbeats. And now you got your little home health care job, and now you the hot shit. You wearing your little nurse outfit, sitting up in the house on your phone, watching YouTube videos, and now you're the hot shit. And now I'm deadbeat. Well, to me, you was deadbeat for even being around that long in the house with her, without saying, I gotta get the hell up out of here and do something. But if you gave her that much time for her to now give you the title deadbeat, then you played yourself. Never ever ever give women that much time where now you become a deadbeat in their eyes. I don't know what this one's about.
Putting yourself in Tupac's frame of mind for everything that he thought at that time that had happened between him and Biggie. As Tupac had alluded to on 3 different occasions that he had slept with Biggie's wife, Faith Evans. Do you think that Tupac was wrong for sleeping with Biggie's wife, or do you think it took 2 to tango?
I don't think you should do that. I tell you, he did some stupid shit, but that's just the stupid shit in him. That's that Gemini shit. And then he mad at the East Coast like a motherfucker. He mad. So he gonna get back any way he can. A little jab. You know how we do. We know how that shit is. Like calling the motherfucker. Well, I fucked your wife. Motherfucker. Same shit. You understand what I'm saying? No, I didn't like the video. Nice beat. I love the beat. Man, but the fuck are you talking about sleeping with somebody's wife for? Who does that? But that's part of the shit that he was in. That's that environment, that tough guy. I'm so tough, I could tell you I slept with your wife. And if you did, keep your mouth shut. Shit, what's wrong with you? Why make things worse? That's all I'm saying, bro. A lot of things that people do that we don't like. My son, me, everybody. So that was one of them that I didn't like. I didn't like that record. I didn't like that at all. No.
So you saying you didn't like Hit 'Em Up?
No, I like the beat, but the content. You up here, man, with words. You telling the truth about society. You breaking down the right and wrong of America. You telling people how to go about being real, because you were real. Then you gonna stoop to that level? That soap opera shit? That ain't you. And don't let them people take you there. For what? This commercial?
See, these are jewels this is the jewels that our fathers has to be in our lives to give to the boys. Women, stop taking the wisdom away from your sons. Stop taking the love and wisdom from your children, your daughters. They need to hear this from their fathers. And yo, I'm out there with parents all day long. I be hearing shit from fathers, and I be saluting them all day long. And I be wondering why society really be crapping on fathers. I be around a lot of fathers. Let's hear this again.
between him and Biggie, as Tupac had alluded to on 3 different occasions that he had slept with Biggie's wife, Faith Evans. Do you think that Tupac was wrong for sleeping with Biggie's wife, or do you think it took 2 to tango?
I don't think you should do that. I tell you, he did some stupid shit, but that's just the stupid shit in him. That's that Gemini shit. And then he mad at the East Coast like a motherfucker. He mad, so he gonna get back any way he can. Little jabs, you know we do. You know how that shit is. Like calling the motherfucker. Well, I fucked your wife, motherfucker. Same shit. You understand what I'm saying? No, I didn't like the video. Nice beat. I love the beat. Man, but the fuck are you talking about sleeping with somebody's wife for? Who does that? But that's part of the shit that he was in. That's that environment, that tough guy. I'm so tough, I could tell you I slept with your wife. And if you did, keep your mouth shut. Really, shit, what's wrong with you? Why make things worse? That's all I'm saying, bro. A lot of things that people do that we don't like. My son, me, everybody. So that was one of them that I didn't like. I didn't like that record. I didn't like that at all. No.
So you saying you didn't like Hit 'Em Up?
No, I like the beat, but the content. You up here, man, with words. You telling the truth about society. You breaking down the right and wrong of America. You telling people how to go about being real. You are real. Then you're going to stoop to that level? That soap opera shit? That ain't you. And don't let them people take you there. For what? This commercial? We got enough commercial motherfuckers. I can name some names, but I don't want to. Well, I will. Half the rappers in America are commercial. Watch TV. Watch the NBA game. They sell everything with rap. Everything's black rap, but it's commercialized. It's nothing substance. It has nothing. Offers absolutely nothing. And they make more money. Motherfucker made a record. He made more money than Pac made in 5 years. You know what I'm saying? They got mansions and shit. And the beat ain't shit. The hook ain't shit. The music ain't shit, but they play it on the radio over and over and over.
Marketing.
You know about it. I ain't gonna tell you.
At least publicly, it didn't seem to bother Biggie that Tupac had slept with his wife, Faith Evans, based on the fact that in the song Brooklyn's Finest, Biggie said, if Faith had twins, she'd probably have 2pac's. Get it? 2pac's. Do you think Tupac and Biggie would have been able to reconcile their differences if they had both survived?
That's a tough one, bro.
See, I like the art of dialogue, yo. He be when they have great dialogue, yo, because his questions be on point. So he's asking questions. It sounds like a soap opera question, but it's a mental question. He's saying, "How do you think this son would have been able?" Now, this is a father who probably lived that life, of course. All right, of course. He got about 5, 6, 7 kids. Watch. Let's hear. I ain't hear this part. Let's hear his answer.
I don't know. You tell the world you slept with my wife. I don't know if I want to really hang with you for a little while. You know, we got to let things simmer down. So I don't think so. I think aside from that, they might have in time as they both matured. You got to remember, these are kids, 25, 24. They're some babies, man. I think about when I was 25. I thought I knew everything. I realize now I didn't know jack shit. I was a stupid motherfucker. Young, dumb, and full of cum. You just think you know every fucking thing, and you don't know shit. And I think when money, cars, and jewelry support that psyche that you do know something, you know, hey, I got money. Look at these guys. I got gold chains and shit. But you're a baby, and you're stupid. Not everybody. I'm just saying the youngins. You know what I'm talking about,
exactly.
bro. And I can talk about it. You never had to work for it. Even though you're a good basketball player, good rapper, but you really never really had to work for it. You didn't do what your parents did to appreciate what you had. Because if you did, maybe, just maybe, you might not buy a $200 million fucking house.
Now, let's rewind life on what he just said. One of the main reasons why society is a consumerism world now is because women start getting the jobs, start making her own money, No man can tell her what to do with her own money. I work for this. Who are you to say anything? You ain't doing nothing. It's the psyche. You don't have to be rich. You can just be making money off of Uber right now. All those all those chicks making money off of Uber, and their boyfriend's license is suspended. And they sent back not making no money. Now she thinks she the hot shit. And now she don't want to support his weed habit, not his habit, but his weed hustle. Now she giving him problems. Now they breaking up because she's an Uber driver. And she's doing her own thing with her money. This is really some real psychological issues that we go through in our community that we got to really identify 1000% to eradicate the problem. Consumerism is a heavy issue. We be consumers so that we can get the girls. We be consumers so we can get the attention of the guys that has the money to get to allow you to be a consumer. See the hustle? A woman would go out there and buy all this stuff to put herself and market herself for the highest bidder, and then he become her finances for her consumerism. This psyche must end.
Do you know how many $250,000 houses you can buy for the poor with $200 million houses? I don't want to mention no names, but you know what I'm talking about. Okay, he's got $1 billion, but not for fucking nothing. You don't have to do that. We know you rich. How much is it? Pac spoke on that too. How much is a fucking number? How many houses do you need?
You're speaking about Jay-Z.
Yeah, okay.
It's okay. I mean, it's all over the news.
Yeah.
See, my man is so humble, and he's not trying to be no chatty petty cat. He's not trying to be one where people can take this and run with it on the internet and say, oh, and run with little for views and clickbait. He's not doing that. He's not speaking on that level. He's speaking on a level where I'm not naming names. I'm just saying, yo, come on, Jay, what the fuck, nigga? And this is before now. This is before this now. This interview is before what Jay-Z just purchased now. What home did Jay and Beyonce purchase? How much was the word? Come on, folks. Yeah, they had to kill Pac because because Pac came from a root, and as the world kept saying Pac's father's dead, behind the scenes they knew Pac's father wasn't dead. Behind the scenes, everybody with that whole operation knew that they had to keep that, from really coming together. That father-son mind for the music. That father and son impact of the mind, like what Nas had with his father when he made his album and had his father participate with him. The industry couldn't allow that. This guy could be a con artist, but I ain't gonna believe that. This guy could be full of shit, but I'm not gonna roll with that. I'm rolling with the fact that this guy is talking about the black community and what our struggle and issues are. That's what I'm rolling with.
Yeah. Jay-Z's gonna be mad. Oh, Pac's father and shit. Watch him say. I love you, Jay, and you do a lot for people. Because my daughter loves you. And every time I talk about you, she brings you up. You and Beyonce. I love her too.
I think personally that they deserve whatever they work for.
Yeah, I do too.
At the end of the day.
Not for nothing.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about me.
Absolutely.
I look at that.
Got you.
I look at people in the street, man. I got no money, but I give people money. I see somebody struggling at a grocery store, putting shit back. No, you buy that. I buy them that. It ain't shit. I don't think nothing about it. I don't pat myself on the back like I did something glorious. It's just helping someone out.
Yes.
That's just helping someone out.
Yes.
So if you're in a position to do that, then you should do that. And they do that. Don't get me wrong.
Now remember, or the dialogue, you're speaking to a Black Panther captain. So whatever the fuck they earn, you know, I don't give a flying fuck. Put back. That, like he said, that's the rule. Okay, we have a real code. We have a real rule. It's a natural rule. And those who make it and go against this rule is the serpent. And they must be spoken upon. Jay-Z will be the man if Jay-Z can start back from $1 million and get it all over again. With everything that Jay has right now, is good to go. He's good to go. If Jay was to start his next half of his life, his next quarter of his life, doing what he's what he's now supposed to do, he got everything he needs for him and his family. Now he can truly 1,000%. I mean, he could have did 10 years ago. He could have did 15 years ago, maybe even 20 years ago. But now he's in a position to do it 1,000%, which is now live a life of fixing the system. That means take $750 million and say, with this, I'm going to do what I need to do to do my part to fix the system. No, you know, that's still leaving with 250 million plus. No, I want him to go down to $1 million. So we talk about spending 999. You know, understand what I'm saying? On fixing the problems. And if he got 99 problems, but the bitch ain't one. Let's see the problems now in real life. If you really got 99 problems. And the chick ain't one, if she's going to be able to survive and stay with you by your side while you dump this $900 million into fixing the system, and I ain't talking about the system, I'm talking about your control. You think Jay can get that billion back and double up? I guarantee he could. I guarantee you Jay-Z would be able to make, if Jay-Z was to dump $900 million into us, the low level foundation, but the low level. I guarantee you that investment into us will get him $5 billion, maybe 10. But they don't see that because they are consumers and they lust for the shiny material stuff. Everything that glitters is not gold, folks. What you got to say, Billy?
Foundations, black people, they've done so much for black people. They've done more than other people. Done more than Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan gives it a Red Cross. Fuck a Red Cross. Red Cross don't give a shit about us.
Right.
Tax deductible, people say. It's giving. It's charity. He gives. Yeah, but to whom do you give? Who receives the benefit of your fruits of your labor?
Absolutely.
I love this dude. How many people love Billy? Hold on. I love Billy. Billy's dope. Billy's is really dope, folks. And the reason why we say Billy's dope is because now we know why Tupac is dope. So as dope as you think Tupac is, his father is 12 times doper. Okay, like if Billy was if Billy was a rapper, Tupac would have to walk in Billy shoes. Billy's like the Michael Jordan, and Mike and Tupac would have to walk in Michael Jordan's shoes. But we don't hear it. We don't get it. We think that's a joke. We think that family values and family structure is not an important topic and issue. We think that flat Earth is important. We think that aliens and Mars is more important. We think that science and hating on one another is more important. We think that everything's more important than family values and family structure. But prayerfully, we'll be able to open our eyes and see that the day's going to come when the reality is in our face and say, hey, I've been here, and you have not come through this door. You all are welcome, but you must clean up your act before entering. And that door is called paradise. And once we be able to make it to paradise, folks, you'll realize that we have not been playing this game, the American dream, the right way. Because we abandoned the most important part of the American dream, which is always the dream. The love for man. It's important for us to remember that that's the key element for surviving.
And I think it should be the grassroots. So to me, shit, I'm putting somebody in the house. I don't give us a shack, 150,000. I could buy a gazillion of them, and them motherfuckers will say my name like God for the rest of their life because he bought me a house.
Cannot go for more than 90 seconds.
What happens after 90 seconds?
Don't want to stay.
Talk to me.
83 seconds,
That
get it off.
What if we open the door, but we didn't shut it?
See, that's what y'all folks do. You'll be embracing the evil.
There's been a lot of speculation and innuendo over the years about what happened that night in Las Vegas when Tupac was shot. What do you think ultimately happened?
I don't know. That's something that's got to be discussed at a different time, I would think. I will say I don't think Orlando Anderson, unfortunately, was the person responsible for that death. I will say also that I think the same people who killed my son killed Biggie. Done in the same way, same style. I think that when someone says that they're taking their business, their potential millions and millions of dollars of profit away from a certain group of individuals, I think that those individuals might tend to think, well, if we do this, we'll still have all the masters and we'll still have 165, I think, unreleased at that time. Then they can go write a song taking a shit in the bathroom. I'm telling you, that's what he would do. He would go take a shit and will come back with some verses to a new song. He was that capable. So he was very prolific in his ability to put words to pen to paper. The problem was he wasn't getting what he deserved. Pac would have to go ask for royalties. Pac would say, where's my money? And then they would always deliver a car Found out later it wasn't even in his name. They buy him a house. Found out it wasn't in his name. Send him to the jewelry store. He'd buy everybody. She'll say, go on down this jewelry store and buy yourself some jewelry. Spend 40, 50, 60, $70,000, buy his boys some shit. Found out later, they took this out his royalties. So he was actually spending his own money as opposed to you giving me my money and letting me spend it the way I see fit.
Yeah.
But why would anyone do that when it's all about keeping you to be a consumer? So it all comes back to the same businesses and companies and corporations that's going to be giving my record label the money paying me. So my money's going to come back to me. So folks, that's that. I want to go on something else before, trying to get it right. So, okay, let's just see. There's a few things. I wanted to see what he said about Athena, because he said a lot about Athena. That's what I was trying to get to. Okay, let's get to it. I see it now. Okay, let's go to which one? Let's do this one first.
This brilliant trick keeps Americans safe during a blackout. This self-charging light bulb works up to 7 days without electricity. And it's so energy efficient, it will even lower your...
Okay.
For the people who say that you could have found Tupac before he got shot in the hospital,
Hold on. Hold on, folks. I don't know if I messed up. Hopefully, I didn't mess up the stream yet. Let me try. I took it off the screen by accident. Let me try and get it back on. Hopefully, it's not. Let me know if it's doubling up.
I did some things, but now I wish I could have. And it was a very difficult thing to know you have a son out there that you can't find, that you can't call, that you don't know where he is or what he's doing. And you don't really bring that up because to a certain extent you are embarrassed. Who could tell? Because they did deposition on some of my relatives, and they were asked. They said some knew Pac and some didn't, and the ones who didn't said, "Well, he just didn't bring them around. I didn't know of him." But it was very difficult for me to tell you that I have a son out there that I don't know where he is. I don't know what he's doing. So for me to see him in that first movie in Juice, to know that he had survived until that age, made my heart swell, and I wanted to see him and I wanted to know him, and that's when I started. His publicist was an old friend of mine, Karen Lee, from Jersey City. I thought that was the biggest coincidence that we ever could have. She was his publicist. She was the one I was dealing with. But I found that Athene controlled her. So Athene was telling her that Pac needed a little more time. Because I was trying to meet Pac for 1 to 3, 4 years, trying to meet him. One of the lawyers for her asked me, well, why didn't you go to one of his movies and make a scene and raise your hand that you're his father? That's just not my style. 1, 2, I was told that he didn't really want to see me at this time. which I found out later was a lie. You see what I'm saying? But I couldn't have done that. That ain't my style. You know, I got too much pride, you know, especially if you to believe what she said, that he said he didn't want to see me. So why would I go and do the groupie thing? Hey, Pac, I'm your dad. No, that ain't me. I'd never do no shit like that.
All right, so now it was pride. Now I can't. Everybody making this seem like I'm trying to be some type of groupie, and it's not that. And now tight. So now I can't really get into my son's life. But Juice came out in 1992. I think Pac was born, what, 71? 72, one of those years. Right? 71. And so 1992, the movie came out, and he said he'd been trying to get a hold of him for 3 years since then. But mommy thinks that he still needs time. For what? What was she pumping in this man's ears? And this is where I wanted to be with the segment. I wish I could have got to it earlier, but you know, the man was dropping some jewels that made me excited. I had to hear him talk. I didn't hear that dialogue. I didn't hear a lot of the dialogue. But this right here is traumatizing. Because he see his son in the movie. You know his father's hip. Especially in 1992 at this time. His father's definitely hip. Living in Jersey City, listening to New York music, listening to Pac, and like, yo, this is my son. My son kicked in that real shit. But mommy's saying he needs more time before he can meet and greet daddy. That is very disgusting, rude, and disrespectful. And he handled himself as a G. He was a gentleman. Too much of a gentleman. And like his pride also said, I ain't gonna be acting like a groupie. Let me repeat that.
1, 2, I was told that he didn't really want to see me at this time, which I found out later was a lie. You see what I'm saying? But I couldn't have done that. That ain't my style. You know, I got too much pride, you know, especially if you to believe what she said, that he said he didn't want to see me. So why would I go and do the groupie thing? Hey, Pac, I'm your dad. No, that ain't me. I'd never do no shit like that. I thought he knew. Now, if I would have known that he was not told the truth, then I might have. As a matter of fact, let me tell you a true story. I used to do air freight. I used to own a trucking concern. People who needed stuff overnight, good money in it back in the day. They would ship it overnight. Good fees, you can make a lot of money. But I used to deliver in Jersey City. The cemetery that the Sopranos and everybody, big cemetery in Jersey City, goes down the hill, Newark Avenue. I found out that I passed him when they were filming the movie Above the Rim. I saw all the cameras and, you know, the truck. I don't have to tell you because you know about that filming crews. I later learned that I was this fucking close. If I'd have parked the truck and walked over there, I could have seen my son. Wow. But I didn't know that would, you know, I don't stop to see when I see people filming, you know. But that was very coincidental, I thought, you know.
Amazing.
Yeah, but I had to go 2 more years before I got a chance to see him.
Now, if we don't know what that was God working. Even for him to even tell this story. You know, it would have been so much greater for him been able to tell that same story with Pac sitting there. And tell Pac live in front of us as a live audience for the first time, you know, that story. That's something that would have been awesome. But that's God working. Like he said, it was such a coincidence that his publicist was his friend. That's work. That's the works. Miracles working. Because it was you cannot stop what's ordained to be. Now, like I said, we taking the fact that this is Tupac, Afina, and Billy out. We just saying it's the black community itself. So as I'm speaking right now, I'm speaking just to the black community. But that evil that our women do is the spirit of Jezebel. Holding that power back, holding that for your own power, holding your child back for power, holding your child back who is a stock back from his father for power is the spirit of Jezebel. Holding back your child from the other family, the other parent, so that you can control or keep and gain the power and wealth to yourself is evil in the spirit of Jezebel.
First time I seen him when we got to talk was in the hospital. We didn't talk. He was still recovering from that. I went to Jasmine Guy's house. That shot in the nut shit. Excuse me if anybody, I don't mean to be rude, but Pop was sitting on the couch. He had sent for me. He was happy to see me. He said, "Hey, Pops," pulled back his motherfucking blanket, showed me his nuts. He said, "They ain't shoot me in the nuts." And not for nothing, I did realize he was my son there because we tend to, never mind, I don't. But I thought that was funny. A lot of lies. That boy had to suffer so much. That boy went through so much. People lying on him. People stealing his money. You know. Go ahead. I'll be rambling, so I don't want you.
No, we here to, celebrate your legacy, his legacy, and get the truth.
Yeah, his
from
legacy.
You.
I'm just the father.
Yeah,
but
you're part of that. Like, you're part of that legacy. Because without you, he wouldn't be here, and without Afina, he wouldn't be here. So
no doubt.
Yeah. So
and I'm in my 70s, brother. So I figured, let me tell my side. I've had offers, maybe I would say 10 offers to do interviews. I did about 3, and all 3 were. You sit there, you talk to somebody for 2 years, you thought you were relating to them, you thought you were getting a point across, you thought you were telling the truth. And then when you see it, it's just totally different from what you had said. They took it and twisted it, and you're like, whoa. So that's why I backed up. How much did you ask me to do this interview, brother? Tell the truth.
It was about a year.
Yeah. How many times?
I can't even count.
A lot.
It was a lot of times. It was a lot of times.
What did I say? No.
Yeah, you said no, and you didn't know, and give you some time. And
I told you a lot of shit on the phone, didn't I?
Yeah, absolutely. We talked very extensively, and I think I thank you for that. Thank you for that information and that knowledge.
Well, I saw you were real when you did an interview about when you did a segment on about how she lied to him.
Yeah,
and I said, well, finally somebody fucking sees her.
Well, actually, I had that experience in my life.
You told me.
Now, see, this is where I want. This is the one I want here. It's about to end, but like he said, it happened to him also in his life, so he kind of took it personal. So this is what made Billy draw to this guy to give him an interview, because how he covered facts.
So yeah. It kind of hit home for me, and I just felt that was important, for all of the young men, black young men, white young men, but mainly us that go through that. I thought that was important that we.
But do you understand my dilemma?
Absolutely.
The greatest rapper of all fucking time. Come on. You could pretend Jay-Z, he got the most fucking money. You present Snoop Dogg, he's the most commercialized now. Greatest. They singing my son's shit 27 years after his death. I listen to his shit. If he wasn't my son, I'd listen to his shit. He's that good. He takes words that anybody could use, just puts them together with a beat. And you're bobbing your head and you're saying, yeah, that's true. Listen to this man. He's saying things that make sense, that touches the soul of every person in America. and he was a leader, and he had a large following. And I think that might have been a contribution to his demise between you and I. But that's another story.
At Blue Bunny, we test to make sure our mini treats are crunchy and mini. Thor! Oh, beautiful.
Sorry.
So, does it feel mini enough for you? Approved. Blue Bunny, we make fun.
Now, how many people feel that this man is being 100% honest, or how many people think that he's just doing it for money and exposure? You know, how many people think that a lot of guys be lying when they be talking about their baby mamas and why they're not with their kids? Let's even look at Umar. I don't know how you can always find a way into my video. I don't know how his name can always find a way in my videos, but yeah, look at Umar. He told me that he was having issues with, you know, going to court and the moms was holding the kids back and all, you know. He said the same thing. That's why I said let's just erase it as being Tupac and just say the black community as a whole, this is something that we go through and it got to come to an end, because it's killing too many of our men. It's sending too many of our men to jail and to the grave. And if they lucky, just to the hospital. And some might be unlucky because that they didn't make it to the grave, that they just in the hospital. So it's very important for us to realize that when I speak about this Jezebel spirit, you have to be able to identify what the Jezebel spirit looks like and is, no matter who the person is. Open. It don't matter who the person is who holds this Jezebel spirit. Now I'm gonna bring it to what the art of dialogue is talking about. They talk about Billy and Tupac in the Phoenix Shakur, and how Phoenix Shakur was doing every and anything in payback form to keep Tupac away from his biological father, which is what so many guys go through. That's why you have the show talk about you are the baby father. Guys don't even believe no more. You said for 2 years that this wasn't my kid. Now you're saying it's my kid. Nah, we got to take a test. This is where we at with it now, because that Jezebel spirit, that evil. She thought she was going to be able to live through the system, so she had to. He's not in the life, but she's eating with the system. The next thing you know, she messed something up, and she's not getting that much money now from the system, and now she needs this money from the deadbeat father that she was keeping out the life. This is your kid. But she was playing games because she had all his information. A lot of times, a lot of these chicks be getting a hold of these guys' information. You know what I'm saying? They get a hold of their social, and that's all she wrote. She do everything for him, and now he's in the system, and he don't even know what's going on. The love of money, what people do, is horrific. And your men suffers at the very end, whether they die in jail or in court, dealing with a psychopathic baby mama that we all know is crazy, or kill himself. Then we could say the moms suffer from the burden of, and it's not a burden, but it becomes a burden because you're not family structured, of doing everything on your own, where you feel like you're a victim. But it all boils down to, why'd you have the baby from the get-go? ladies, so that's what I say to you. Before you go out there in the world to lay down with a man and knowing that this might be a chance that you get pregnant, you gotta ask yourself, why would I get pregnant with this guy? And guys, you gotta ask yourself, why would I get this girl pregnant? What benefit is it for me? What am I signing up? Let's see. I'm trying to what's not scrolling down? Let me see something.
In the Dear Mama documentary, it was mentioned that you were with Tupac at Jasmine Guy's house after he checked himself out of the hospital. What was that experience like?
It was cool. I was quiet though, because he had all the outlaws around. The Fiend was in the next room. I wanted to talk to him, and she sat between me and him. To the life of me, I didn't understand what was going on. But hey, she's been on the scene. She got a right to sit next to her son. But when I look back on it, and I guess she just maybe wanted to know what I was going to say to him or what he was going to say to you, and found out later in life that, like I said, they had heated arguments to the day he died, that she did not tell him the truth about his father. And so we would sit up there. I tell you, we smoked that chronic. I can't smoke. That shit almost knocked me out, brother. I can't smoke that. I smoke weed, but I want to be with my son. All the outlaws. I'm about 40 something then, right? Yeah, I can hang with you niggas. I ain't scared. I'm gonna smoke with y'all. Boy, that chronic fucked me up. It almost knocked me out. I'll never smoke that shit again. And this nigga over here is just rolling the whole box of cigars. They just kept rolling, and they would just pass it around and round and round. I said, "This is how y'all do it? Nah, come on. Nah, never again will I ever." But we couldn't talk. That was the deal. Because you had so many people, how can you talk intimately? It's a small apartment, well, a little bit bigger than this, but 5 dudes, a mother. Jasmine Guy came home later. But I was a little disappointed when I saw that. She said, he just popped up. I don't know if you remember that. You got to watch the.
Yeah, I do. I do. I watched it.
I just popped up. I looked at my wife. Oh, this is where this is going. I'm just a come along motherfucker in the middle of the night. It just blew my mind, brother. It blew my mind.
So at the apartment, it was discussed by numerous of people that Tupac had guns and he was ready to roll.
No, he had a gun to protect himself.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, he had just gotten shot.
Right.
If I got shot, I'm gonna have a gun. I'm gonna have a gun. He just had one gun. That's all I saw. But he had everybody's couch. He was laying on the couch because, the wound. No, he wasn't ready to roll. He's still waiting for sentencing. So what's he going to do?
Right.
Just got shot. Where could he go? What somebody wouldn't say, they go Tupac. So, come on. There's always hearsay, bro. Always, people are going to say something, which bothers me because to this day, I've never seen so many people bite off an artist like they bite. Everybody's got experience with Tupac.
What I wanted to do, I'm not even going to go back to it, but he said that, the time that he was able to engage and spin with Pop, it was like he said, he was sitting on the sofa and Athena was in the middle. Like that itself would have been to me I would go, yo, homegirl, if you don't get your ass the F up out of here. But he was being humble because he's like, well, this her son, I guess she's protecting. He's probably laughing on the inside, not knowing that his son is going to die and he ain't never going to have the real big opportunity to make amends and really chill and have peace with him. But he's just looking at the long term. The time will come when it'll be more peace. So I let this rock. But when you sit back and look at it, it's like, yo, come on, man. And I watch our women do that with the kids. with men in general, the type of overprotection that they give. So to be a parent and be a father, and you having that overprotection, making me feel like an outsider, is so not cool. Shout out to the men who deal with that. But that was not cool, and like he said, then he never could be intimate with his son because they was always blunt passing nonstop all day long with 10, at least 10 people all day. So he, like I said, he was just trying to fit in. He's like, oh, so this what I gotta do for now. Okay, I'll spark up with you. I'll spark up with you, son. This what I gotta do for now. I'm trying to get in, son. We need to have a conversation. Let's really talk. But everything was too fast, and I could just imagine Tupac probably was giving him a certain level of runaround at the same time, like being a little bit being too busy and too important to engage. Here you can, but you here though. You here. You with my people. You fam. You here, Dad. I can see that going on, but right now I got to talk to this person. I got interview. I got to do this. But you here, Dad. You know what I'm saying? We gonna spend that time together. Spark up, drink. That's the devil spirit still. Take that time out.
Everybody's got something to say about Tupac. And I don't know how you could, it's just amazing, And it's usually to promote this shit. So that's just the way it is.
The reason why I asked that question was because you there and you would know. And I think that that's very important to get that firsthand information, not the innuendo, not the speculation, not what I think I saw, but you were there. So I appreciate that and your honesty about that.
Like you said, you was there. We're just gonna go back because we about to end this.
And found out later in life that, like I said, they had heated arguments to the day he died. That she did not tell him the truth about his father.
Do you know how many sons, young ages, end up in the streets because of that right there? He said him and his moms had heated problems, heated arguments on the fact that she didn't tell him the truth. Like I told you before, one day I was in this girl's house and don't believe in fathers no more. So the son came downstairs to go in the refrigerator, and I'm sitting we were playing Miss Pac-Man video game, and the son came in and asked his mom said, oh, "Hey mom, where's my dad at?" He said it jokingly, but he was asking a real question, because he's looking at me sitting up in the kitchen, it was after 10, and he's like, "Where's my dad at?" But the boy's 14, you know what I'm saying? But he was being sarcastic, but he's like, "Come on, mom, what's really good?" But I guess at the age of 14, he still don't know the story of his father. So just imagine that little boy was more so of an outside kid, because he's not an outside kid. He's kind of big, chubby, mama's boy, firstborn. So he clings to her. But just imagine he was more so out there, out and about, wanting to be out in the streets, wanted to ride the bike, wanted to hang with the girls out in the streets. And he got time to be all up in the houses playing video games in the house with mommy and having mommy's time with they watching the movie and playing video games and taking turns cooking, building him to be a little homo. But she also liked women, so why not make her son into a homo? But for her to keep the son from the father is crazy. She has a younger daughter who's born from a sperm donor. And she told her, we don't celebrate Father's Day. So just imagine the millions and millions and millions of kids, but we're going to talk about boys right now, but the millions and millions of boys who are being raised by their moms and going through that, and they want the truth. And when they get the truth, they out. They play games. They getting the street love. They getting the fatherly love from the uncle in the hood. They getting the fatherly love from the guys who helping them get up, getting those new sneakers, get packs, get that bread. Because mom is a liar. And mom, I can't trust her. And I don't want you to be around her. So I'm gonna be out here and I'm gonna make some money. That's what goes on. Very important for us to figure this out. Billy gave a great interview with the Art of Dialogue. Appreciate this right here.
To the life of me, I didn't understand what was going on. But hey, she's been on the scene. She got a right to sit next to her son. But when I look back on it, and I guess she just maybe wanted to know what I was going to say to him or what he was going to say to you, and found out later in life that, like I said, they had heated arguments to the day he died. That she did not tell him the truth. He had all the outlaws around. The Fiend was in the next room. I wanted to talk to him, and she sat between me and him. To the life of me, I didn't understand what was going on, but he was in the next room. I wanted to talk to him, and she sat between me and him. To the life of me, I didn't understand what was going on, but hey, she's been on the scene. She got a right to sit next to her son. But when I look back on it, and I guess she just maybe wanted to know what I was going to say to him or what he was going to say to you, and found out later in life that, like I said, they had heated arguments to the day he died. That she did not tell him the truth about his father.
It was all about the money. How many women know in their hearts that it wasn't even about her trying to protect her son from him? Because Tupac had his protection. Tupac had guns. Tupac already had in his heart, like, if this nigga act up, I got my dudes, we would stomp him out. Mommy didn't, there's nothing that mommy could do to protect her old grown son at this point. It was all about her trying to protect her wealth. You don't deserve this. You don't deserve none of this. This is all mine. And this boy gonna act up, be whatever he wanna be, do what he wanna do, because I don't give a fuck. Because it's about money with her. Otherwise, she would have had her father, his father, have a man-to-man conversation with her son, because she knows that her son is out of control. Facts. So, ladies and gentlemen, get the Jezebel spirit out your home. Thank you for your listening ear, your support. Shout out to Billy Garland and the Art of Dialogue. Have a beautiful, great evening. Peace.